Let's talk about Jack and his intentions, I guess, too. First and foremost, I love late night hosts. I love the back end of those things. I love like the idea of Larry Sanders, but that also that hunger for it too. There's so much hunger. So can you tell us a little bit about Jack and how you wanted to kind of like look at the late night world, but also the hunger of that time, the era,
Yeah,
him, you know.
totally. The way in for me to get into Jack's mind was not looking at the ego or the narcissistic kind of approach you could take to somebody who's striving to be number one. Instead, I thought it was really powerful to imagine a man who's worked so hard and is trying to honor the legacy of his deceased wife, to honor all of the people who work around him and support him, and to keep them not only employed, but to keep them on a hit show so that all of them could rise together. That to me made the stakes so incredibly high that when he feels compelled to bend the boundaries of his ethics, it made sense to me as David. To your other question, something that made a lot of sense to me as David is this push and pull that we in the entertainment industry, and I think people in all industries feel when it comes to ambition. There's almost a kind of shame that can be inherent, especially when I see artists who found any level of success because they're supposed to suffer, they're supposed to be broke, they're supposed to, it's part of the deal. So, in embracing that outward desire for success, that push to be number one, I felt like I could experience Jack and kind of take his id and his ego all the way to the extreme for what ultimately was going to be the consequence as we see in the film.
Can you talk a little bit about working with Cameron and Colin, and I guess their vision? Because when you place anything in a certain era of time, it opens up a wide variance of what you can do, how we want to kind of encapsulate that era, what we want to do to kind of capture it too. So, what was the conversation like with them?
I love working with Colin and Cameron so much. They have this deep love and spiritual connection to the 1970s and 80s era of genres filmmaking. They understood tonally what this movie needed to feel like from page one all the way to the shocking conclusion. And the materials that they sent me before I was even cast, which included a little TV guide style of expose on night owls that they had made by, collaging and photoshopping together all this imagery and articles from the 70s, was like chef's kiss. It made me just feel completely confident in their mastery of this world that they were going to recreate.
Now, when it comes to this story, if a friend were to ask you about this story, how would you best explain it to them? I need a little bit for TV.
Oh, I would say this is the late night wars of the 1970s told through the lens of the tradition of possession stories. This is a film about a man who is on the fray psychologically, who has pushed himself to the limits personally and professionally. And in doing so and not tending to his needs mentally, he has opened a gateway to something so horrific that even a live studio audience and millions of people around America watching their TVs that night in 1977 could never have prepared themselves for.
I
There's a
will
book
say,
right there. Let me tell you, Derek, I wish I had said that months ago. That was the best way I've ever said it. You gotta, if you
I got the
don't
good
put that
one.
in there word for word, brother, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, that was it.
It's not going to be my, it's
I'm
going to
never
be
gonna say
your
it again
voice.
as well as I just did for you, dude. Like you just got the best word vomit I've ever produced.
We're gonna transcript that, put it out, print it. It's there. Um, you know what though? But that's what it is. Once you do it enough times, just like a late night host, it kind of falls into it, and you're like, how do we make this into gold? How do we spin this too? I do want to say, what were the conversations like about the or even looking at the script, I love the things, and like I said, in the same kind of vein of like Larry Sanders, but a different world, like the behind the scenes versus who he is on camera kind of stuff too. Like, how did you kind of put those two sides together when you wanted to connect the story, but also his fervor for everything in different kind of formats?
One of the great benefits of having spent a huge chunk of my early career in the theater is that I spent a lot of time studying archetypes and mask work, thinking about something as abstract as, say, the tradition of commedia dell'arte, right? Which for those who don't know, is just like breaking down all of the character types into their most archetypal, like the fool, the hero, the whatever. So I found myself working very hard, and it paid off for me personally to create a character that when the TV cameras were rolling on the live broadcast of Night Owls, to be Jack, who wears this mask, the Night Owl's mask, the public persona mask, the I've got it all together, the aw shucks Midwesterner, the I'm
Right.
just a funny, happy-go-lucky, wry, you know, ball of laughs. Take the mask off every time they yell commercial break.
Well, I can
And
tell
I
you right now, when you said the theater thing, like this could be like a stage play where you could watch it with a live jazz band, kind of like keeping things kind of moving at the same time. It's so much fun. It's something different too that I think people really enjoy as well. What was the moment for you? Was it in the script? Was it just the idea that you said, you know what, this is just different, and this is something I want to do?
To be honest, it was the thing that scared me the most that made me want to do it. And that was the opening monologue on that night, that October 31st, 1977 broadcast. Jack delivers what is in the script about a 4 or 5 page monologue, which Johnny Carson, David Letterman, any tradition of TV hosts would have done back in the day. It really scared me. And I thought, the last time I've been this scared of a role, I can't remember. And I thought, I want to see if I can rise to this challenge. So I went for it.
I understand. Well, trust me, I fear the devil. I fear a bunch of those things too. But I've also been the guy who's doing the monologue, and the number one thing it always boils down to is, what am I doing with my hands? What am I going to do with my hands here? Sometimes, well, yeah, we're gonna make sure everyone watches this. It's always great to talk to you. We've talked to you at
Dude,
Comic
thank
Con,
you
a bunch
so
of
much,
places
Dan. Yes,
too.
I remember.
Always. Always, too bad you're not at WonderCon. That's the next thing up, but maybe we'll see you at Comic Con in San Diego as well, and we'll make sure everyone gets a
Dude,
chance to
I'm gonna
watch
be
this.
there. I was there last year doing Late Night with the Devil promotion. I'm gonna be there this year doing some huge announcements. We gotta find each other at San Diego this year.
We
Hopefully, we'll
will.
still be promoting Late Night with the Devil, and then I've got some pretty massive announcements to be making at San Diego. So I'll see you in July. All right, brother.
100. We'll have our room again. You have to just come on by. So
I
have a
can't wait.
great day. Congratulations again, and hopefully we'll all tune in again for Late Night with the Devil
Thanks, Derek.
in Comic Con times too. Be good.
Great to see you, brother. Bye.